Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining if you're here. My name is Amber. I'm the founder and CEO of NextWork. And today I'm going to be testing a project. Um, well, I say testing a project, I'm really going to be learning a project. But for myself, whenever I'm doing a project at NextWork, I'm always thinking about the test. So as I go, not only am I going to be doing this project live, please do join along on your own device as we go. But I will also be talking a little bit about the NextWork product, about why we made certain decisions for the product. And then also, as I go, I'm probably going to find things that I would like to improve on it as well. So I will talk a bit about that as we go. So today's project that we're going to do is in the DevOps and AI series. We're doing part 4. And apologies if you've been, very diligently following along in this series. I actually haven't done any of the previous parts. So I'm going to be testing and doing this project from zero other project experience here. I'm going to be jumping straight in from the get-go. But I think that's going to be an awesome learning experience for myself and hopefully for anyone else who wants to try this project, just jumping in, from here. Awesome. Thanks so much, Sean, for checking that in the chat. Maya is also here in the chat and on YouTube and helping out as well. So let's jump into it. 302, let's see how long this takes. Automate testing with GitHub Actions. Learn how production teams automate testing and deployments with CI/CD pipelines. All right, let's give it a go. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. We are here. These are the sorts of things that we're going to be learning. I'm just going to make sure if I click on these, what's going to happen. So we've got some documentation from GitHub, fast APIs, RAG. Nice. This all looks very, very cool, very useful. And this is cool, but I think I'd probably, if I was going to, this is actually really useful, this reference sheet. I remember when I was back at uni I studied software engineering at uni, and this reference sheet I actually used a lot. So awesome to see this here. Okay, 30-second summary. Welcome to Project 4, the last one of our DevOps and AI series. Picture this. You've just learned how to containerize your app with Docker, project number 2. Deploy it to Kubernetes, project number 3, so it runs the same everywhere. Nice. But what if you forgot to run your tests before deploying? Oh my God, what if a bug slips into production because you only manually tested the most obvious scenarios? What? Once you've mastered containerization, handy, a way to package software and its dependencies. Nice, this ensures the application runs consistently across computing environments from a developer's laptop to a production server by isolating it from the underlying system. Great definition. And orchestration. Automated configuration, coordination, management of computer systems, applications, and services. I hear a lot of orchestration around AI at the moment, actually. AI orchestration, AI conductors, like all of this sort of thing. So this, I feel, is a bit of a buzzword at the moment. But anyway, once we've mastered containerization and orchestration, automating testing and deployment is your next challenge, and why CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment, exists for automating, automating testing, automating deployment. So we've basically got this cool app, is my understanding, and now we just want to make sure that we can actually send it to the world, which makes a lot of sense. CI/CD automatically runs your tests and validates code quality every time you push code, all without you touching a single command. Tools like GitHub Actions, nice. GitHub Actions here. GitHub Actions is a CI/CD platform directly integrated into GitHub. Makes a lot of sense. Shout out to GitHub, doing a great job, and one of the few sort of things that Microsoft owns that I feel like they've actually done a very good job at maintaining, which is awesome. Tools like GitHub Actions, GitHub CI/CD platform are used by millions of developers worldwide because they make building reliable software so much easier. Okay, what are we going to build? What you'll build? You're about to build a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions that automatically tests your RAG application every time you update it. I haven't done project 1 to 3 yet. That is me. That is me. No worries, you only need project 1 for this project. Project 2 and Project 3 deploy to Kubernetes aren't required. So you can either complete Project 1 first, which we highly recommend, or we'll guide you through a quick setup at the start of this project to catch up. Either way works. We're going to risk it for the biscuit. We're going for the quick setup. By the end, you'll have a GitHub Actions workflow that automatically runs your test every time you push code. No need to remember to test manually. And then automated quality checks that verify your RAG API answers are accurate and complete. Man, this sounds useful. I think that human error is probably the biggest thing that we want to try and account for. So I think this is going to be really, really good. I wish I had a CI/CD pipeline for leaving the house. That's what I wish I had. This morning, I left my swipe card at home, and it sucks because I got to the office and then I didn't have it. And I feel like that's a real life CI/CD pipeline issue. So maybe with AI robots hanging around, that will become an actual thing. Here's a cool diagram. CI/CD pipeline for RAG API knowledge-based testing. Whoa. Zoom in because my eyesight is getting worse. Developer goes to GitHub, commits and pushes and updates your docs. And then we have a GitHub Actions runner, which is your CI workflow, continuous integration. All right, checking the code, installing dependencies, rebuilding embeddings, starting an API, running semantic tests, and then it passes or fails. Wow, I'm excited. I actually really, really enjoy this. I think this is going to be really fun. Catches missing concepts, e.g. orchestration removed. Oh, interesting. I have questions about that, but we will get to that. What does that mean? We'll find out. I don't have experience with CI/CD or GitHub Actions. Perfect. That's exactly who this project is for. We'll explain every concept as we go. No prior experience needed. This project's completely free. If you get stuck, just ask here. All right. Yeah, nice. We've got the ask. It's ready for us. No thanks. Oh, see this, guys? See how when I open this ask one here, this whole menu down the bottom is actually meant to shift. It's kind of weird that it stays like this. So I'm just going to take a screenshot as we go. I'm going to put that in a ticket somewhere into here. Menu doesn't move, it should. Okay, all right. All right, off we go. Goodbye, ask. We know everyone learns differently. Look, I'm a step-by-step guidance gal, so let's go through it. Awesome. I low-key need a CI/CD pipeline for checking the 5 keys. Oh, same. That's exactly what I was saying. 100%. Someone build me a product for that. That would be awesome. At work, so I can just listen in or do it when I get home. Woo! All right. Here we go. Okay, starting with a quiz. I don't know why. I always get a little nervous doing the quiz, but we're going to give it a go. It should be timed. I think that would be quite fun if it was a timed quiz, like a bit of a game. What is the primary function of a RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation API? All right, RAG to generate code snippets based on user input. If you're listening, check your answer in the chat. I won't look until I choose. Just kidding. I would really like some help. So to generate code snippets based on user input, retrieve relevant information from a knowledge base, augment a prompt with that context, and then generate an answer using an LLM, to store and manage large databases of unstructured data, to translate text between different natural languages. What do we think? Put your answers in the chat. I'll get some music going. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay, I think it's B. Yes. Why is it correct? The contents explicitly defines a RAG API as an AI-powered application that answers questions by retrieving relevant information, augmenting a prompt with that context, and then generating an answer. RAGs are turning up everywhere. Really, really popular at the moment. I see them in a lot of interview questions, actually, and a lot of people who are thinking about building their own AI chat are always thinking about a RAG system. Why is a mock LLM mode essential for testing a RAG API? Oh, that's a good question. I'm not too sure. It replaces the need for knowledge base during testing, is A. B, it speeds up the LLM's generation process for faster testing. C, it makes LLM responses deterministic by returning the retrieved context directly, ensuring consistent test results. Or D, it allows the API to run without any internet connection. That seems a bit fishy. I do have to say that last one. All right, let's read the question again. Chuck in your answers into the chat if you know them. Why is a mock LLM mode essential for testing a RAG API in a CI/CD pipeline? What's a mock LLM mode? We might have to take a guess. Does anyone have any clues here? Speeds the LLM generation. Sometimes I'm tempted to go with this one just because the answer is longer, but that's just my head. I am going to go testing a RAG API in a CI/CD pipeline. Maybe it's just faster. Let's try. If anyone has any, I know, A question mark? Should we try A? No, bummer. B's incorrect. Oh, C's correct. It was the long one. Wonk wonk. That's right. The context explains that LLMs are non-deterministic, making testing inconsistent. Mock LLM mode addresses this by returning the retrieved context directly, allowing for reliable and deterministic. Honestly, okay, this seems like kind of confusing. What does this even mean? I need to ask about this. Simplify this. Oh, that was a linear ticket. Wonder why they didn't copy and paste. Should we try again? Copy this. Oh, look at that. Let's try something else. I wonder if I take a screenshot. Can I put my screenshot in here? Simplify this answer for me. All right, while that's doing its thing, we can continue. Next question. What is a key advantage of embedding documents into a Docker image at build time for a RAG API? These questions are complicated. What is the key advantage of embedding documents into a Docker image at build time for a RAG API? Why would you want to embed documents into a Docker image at build time? Embed documents into a Docker image at build time. What documents? Documents for what? It allows the documents to be easily updated at runtime without rebuilding the image. B, it enables the use of multiple LLMs within the same container. C, it reduces the overall size of the Docker image. D, it ensures the image is self-contained with all necessary knowledge and speeds up container startup. Embedding documents. Okay, we're just going to say arbitrary documents at build time. I don't know what the RAG API has to do with this part. It's a bit of a weird question. I'm going to downvote this question. It allows documents to be easily updated at runtime without rebuilding the image. D. We got some D's. Harry Burrow says D. Sean says D. Let's try. Check answer. Nice! How did you know? The context states that embedding documents at build time means the image is self-contained and there's no need to embed on every container start, leading to a faster startup. All right, learning stuff. What does, I wish I could go back. I wonder, has anyone else had this? Do you wish you could go back in a quiz to the previous question? I kind of do. I wish I'd just captured that. I wanted to find it later. What does semantic regression refer to in the context of RAG systems and CI/CD? Semantic regression. A decrease in the speed of the API's response time. B, an error in the code that prevents the API from starting. C, the inability of the LLM to generate any response. Or D, when the RAG system's answers become less accurate or miss key concepts that previously worked. Put your answers in the chat if you know what this is. The question is, what does semantic regression refer to in the context of RAG systems? What do we think? Semantic regression. Refer to in the context of RAG systems. I'd say D. Yeah, I think so. Let's check. Nice. We got it. Define semantic regression as when something that used to work stops working, specifically meaning answers get worse. All right. That's true. Sometimes I find that if you just, talking to an LLM, it can get into a downward spiral and then the answers just get continuously worse. What is the primary purpose of a git ignore file in a Git repository? Oh, this one we got in the bag. A, to store sensitive environment variables for the project. B, to specify which files should be included in the final build of an application. C, to define the branching strategy for the repository. Or D, to list files and directories that Git should intentionally ignore and not track. Nice. A, B, C, D. Put your answers in the chat here. And go a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, there it is. Hey, very true. All right, complete quiz. 4 out of 5. Almost. I think I'd like to see at the end what ones I got wrong, because you kind of forget sometimes. I'm just going to add that into my little notes here. What questions did I get wrong in the quiz? I'm just keeping off screen, I'm keeping a little note of things that I would like to improve in the app, like things that I think would be useful to work on. And if you're doing a NextWork project and you have the same sorts of thoughts, hey, this could be better, I wish that this happened, then definitely put it in the community in Discord. We're always checking it and seeing what you guys have to say. So would love to hear. All right. This was my complicated answer on the left. I'm just going to leave that for now. So I'm just going to close this, come back to it later. Before we start step 1, what are we here to do today? In this project, I will demonstrate. Oh my goodness, I always have to scroll back up to actually remember this. I will demonstrate I'm building a CI/CD pipeline with GitHub Actions. Okay, nice. I will demonstrate how to build a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions for my RAG API. I'm doing this project to learn about all of the above. GitHub Actions, RAG API, and improve my CI/CD knowledge. Let's go. Exciting. That was me, 4 out of 5. Oh, high five. Nice work. That's awesome. Feature request here. Yes. Thank you, Maya. Awesome. Good morning from India. Good morning. Welcome. All right. Let's go. Step 1. Set up your RAG API. Before we build our CI/CD pipeline, let's make sure that you have a working RAG API ready. We need a working API first because our CI/CD pipeline will automatically test and validate this API. So it needs to exist before we can automate testing for it. Totally makes sense. We don't want to test something that doesn't exist. If you've already done project 1 of this series, this will be super quick. If not, no worries. We'll set up each component as we go. What do we do in project 1 again? Well, spoilers, I haven't done project 1 yet. What are we doing in project 1? We learn how to create a RAG API. This means you've built an API. Honestly, it would have been a good project to do ahead of time because I do have questions about RAG APIs, which I'm sure project 1 answers. This means that you have built an API that you can use AI to understand your documents, answer questions. You wrote code to load your knowledge base into Chroma and then create a fast API. Okay, all right. And what is a RAG API? Application Programming Interface. All right. Do you know, I always thought about an API as like the door between 2 different rooms, and the API is like how they talk to each other. That's kind of how I thought about it when I was learning about APIs. So I think this is pretty cool. A RAG API is an AI-powered API that answers questions by retrieving relevant information from your knowledge base, augmenting a prompt with that retrieved information, and generating an answer. Hey, okay, very cool. Very cool. I wonder if every LLM has every LLM has an API, right? And so this is just your own personal one for your own RAG chat. Nice. This combines the accuracy of search with the natural language capabilities of AI models. All right, understanding locked. Let's go. In this step, you're going to set up your RAG API's code, database, and dependencies. Test your RAG API locally. All right. I'm already checking these off because I know I'm going to be successful. All right, I'm setting up my RAG API. Oh. And then I have to scroll back up. How am I setting up my RAG API? I'm setting up my RAG API by what? By using Chroma, I guess. This means you build an API that can use AI to understand your documents and answer questions about them. You wrote code to load your knowledge base into Chroma. Okay, all right, you know what? We're going to do a little copy here. And paste. Okay, so that I can see what's going on. I'm setting up my RAG API by loading knowledge into Chroma. Nice. A RAG API up, and then using fast API plus Olama to retrieve that information. Okay, I think I understand this. A RAG API retrieves information by translating natural language queries. Here we go. Into prompts, which then query the RAG knowledge base. This foundation is needed for CI/CD because we need something to test and deploy. You know, CI/CD can be applied to not just a RAG API, right? We could use it on anything, but seems good to me. All right. I'm starting project 1 right now. Nice. Join us. We can all be... I wonder how many NextWorkers we can get learning at the same time. Surely we can do like some sort of learning record where we have like 1,000 people all doing a NextWork project at once. That would be super cool. Is it me, or should NextWork projects have a read aloud option where a NextWork team member's voice walks you through the project when you're working solo instead of you having to read everything? Oh, that's such a great idea. Although sometimes I think the New Zealand accent can be a little hard to understand. Like when I travel, I sometimes I feel like I don't speak very clearly. So if you can't understand what I'm saying, please do let me know in the chat. Maybe you can choose your character, you know, choose your NextWork team member to do the project. All right, let's open Cursor on your computer. I'm a Mac. Press Command Space to open Spotlight and then type Cursor. Copy. All right, here we go. Cursor, click Enter. What if you don't have Cursor? Oh, nice. If you don't have it, you can download it there. All right, Cursor will open on your screen. Why is Cursor, why you be hiding like this? There we go. Do you know what a feature that we've been thinking about for a long time is a floating picture-in-picture instructions of NextWork, so that when you're on a screen like this and you're like, oh, where are my instructions for my project? They're actually just floating here around, like following you around. I think that'd be super useful. Let me know if you think that would be useful. Have you completed project 1? No, I did not complete project 1. No worries, you can still complete this project. We'll set up the essential files you need for your RAG API. This setup will take 25 to 30 minutes. All right, game on. Let's see. Tip, we strongly recommend. Yikes. Look, they keep telling me to recommend doing this, but what's the point in being the CEO if you can't go against recommendations? So full steam ahead. In this setup, you'll create a RAG API. Okay, nice. Set up your Python environment, test your API. Okay, here we go. We're going to speed run this. In Cursor, select the open project from the welcome screen. Selected. All right, navigate to your desktop. Oh, and then create a new folder. Can I do that from this screen? I guess I can. My desktop. My desktop is full of trash. I think I'm one of those people that always needs to clean up their desktop. All right, NextWork RAG API, we're ready to go. Select open. All right, there's a lot of jumping around here, but we're moving at pace. So I hope that's okay. Does anyone else sometimes get whiplash from their own screen? Makes you dizzy. Why do we create a project folder? A project folder keeps all your code files organized in one place, and this makes it easier to manage your API code and later connect it to GitHub. Imagine if folders didn't exist. What a stitch would be in. Check your Python version. Before we set up your virtual environment, let's make sure you have Python installed. Why do we need Python? What would we do without Python? Python is the programming language we use to write our API code. Fast API, Chroma, all other libraries will use our Python packages. Think of Python as the foundation. Without it, we can't run any of our API code. Wouldn't it be interesting if code wasn't even like a thing in the future and it was all just LLMs? Because it used to be ones and zeros, then came natural language coding, and then now we're prompting a lot of the code. It's almost another level of abstraction. In Cursor, select terminal, new terminal, and then run this command. All right. Oh, my team used to tell me, they keep telling me, hey, every time I go to click this copy button, I click on this chat button instead. But I think it's because it does a little jiggle like this. Will I fall into that trap? Probably not. Wow, this is so dark. I can't see what's going on. New update now. Okay, I better install this new update. Sorry, one moment, please. Do. Okay, let's see if we got that back. Cursor. Come on back. Our NextWork RAG API. We need a new terminal. All right, let's run. Python. Version 3.1. What does it say? 3.13.2. Check what you see. I see a version number. Ooh, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. 3.13.9. No, I got 3.1.2. Perfect. Oh, great. I have the correct Python version installed. I never am actually too sure. All right. I trust it. Set up virtual environment. Risk it for the biscuit. That's right. Here we go. Oh, awesome. Some feedback here on Discord. Just pause me here. Also, I feel like the way we present the documentation can be improved by presenting ideas about the topics, by having a mental map. Oh my goodness, like a kind of brainstorm, like map of all the concepts that are going on in a project. Is that kind of what you mean? So that we can visualize actually what's going on in a project visually. I think that's kind of what we're talking about. Let me know. This is quite effective for both the person writing the documentation and the hiring manager who can conceptually understand things with a mental map. I like it. Let me know if you have any examples or things like that. Chuck them in the chat. Would love to hear it. All right. We're setting up a virtual environment which isolates our project's Python packages from other projects on the computer. This is nice. Prevents conflicts between different versions of the same package. Oh, another new terminal. All right. And then here we go. A new virtual environment. Terminal, new terminal, virtual environment. Here we go. Do y'all thing, Python. going to have a look. Activate the virtual environment. Source. So this is saying go to the source, the environment file, activate. I think, let's check. Nice. All right. I think I need to zoom in here. I don't know if anyone can see what I'm doing. I don't know how, does this monitor go brighter? I don't even know. Oh, it does, brightness. Wow. Did we know? I'm just going to turn up my monitor screen because it's like going blind here. All right, we're turning up the brightness. Whoa. Okay, cool. Now I can actually see what's going on. All right, now it's been, I assume it's been activated here because I can see that now I'm in the V environment, which looks pretty good to me. And I can also just check what this meant. Think of a virtual environment. Okay, yeah, I get that, but what does the actual commands do? Like source. That's what I wanted to know. Because sometimes I do wonder, like, will I be able to recreate this, when I'm on my own? Amber, the source command is used to execute a script in the current shell environment. Oh, when you run source environment bin activate, it means that the activate script is run directly within your current terminal session. Cool, that's what I wanted to know. So this is actually running the activate script. Very nice. All right, install these dependencies: Fast API, Unicorn, ChromaDB, Llama. All right, all at once. Let's do it. Pip install. I changed my cursor to light mode, Maya says. Craziness. Feedback from YouTube. Fonts are small. Please zoom. Oh, I wonder if they're still small or if that was prior to when I zoomed in. Just, can we check, Maya, if this is an okay zoomness? Think it's good? Awesome. All right. There's something very satisfying about when you install a whole bunch of packages and it does all of this text just running down. Just feels like you're being productive and you haven't even really done that much. Something else is doing, wow, look at all this stuff happening. Awesome. While that's happening. Okay, then we need to check that things are installed. Honestly, really important to just check that everything's installed correctly. So many times you can just be installing things and then you just move on to the next step and then it turns out it wasn't even installed in the first place. Man, that sucks. All right. Something else that I think would be really cool is to have a little timer going. So when you start a NextWork project, you can actually kind of time yourself. And then if you wanted to take breaks, I wonder if anyone here follows the Pomodoro timer method, or I'm not too sure exactly what it's called actually, but it's where you do 20 minutes or 40 minutes and then you have a break, and then 20 minutes or 40 minutes and another break, and so on and so on. I always thought that it's a really cool way to stay focused. And sometimes I wonder if that would be useful in NextWork as well. All right. Are we done? What's going on here? I think it's still thinking about it. Oh, successfully built, installing collected packages. All right. Oh yeah, nice. Okay. Now we're checking, did everything actually work? It's an interesting command that we're running here, because this command here, when I look at this, I say, okay, pip list, we used pip install, and now I guess we're listing the packages that we just did. But what does grep mean? What is that? Grep, get, oh, maybe get repositories? Oh, now I like it, I like it. grep e, this filters the list. Oh, interesting. But what does this mean in particular? What does grep mean specifically? Oh, hello, code. I wonder if I can get out of that. How do I do this? Oh, well, hopefully it doesn't. It's an interesting one. I wonder if like we can format code blocks actually in here. Oops. Has anyone managed to put a code block in? Sometimes, how do we do code blocks? That was weird. I kind of like created a code block, but then didn't know how to not create a code block. Adding it to the list. Code block attack. Ah. All right. What does it mean? grep. This is a command line utility for searching plain text data. Oh. E tells grep to interpret the pattern as an extended regular expression. That's every sentence I ever say is an extended regular expression. Offers more powerful and flexible pattern matching capabilities compared to basic regular expressions, allowing you to use special characters. Oh wow, that's kind of cool. It's like a search. It's basically like not an exact search, like a fuzzy search. You should see all 4 packages listed in the terminal response. 1, 2, 3, 4. God, I'm so good at this. Create k8s.txt. What is k8? The question is, how do you say that? Not just what is it, how do you say it? Kate's? That's how I would say it. This is your knowledge base, a text file containing information your API will use to answer the questions. When someone asks, what is Kubernetes, your API will search this file for relevant information to generate an answer. Oh, why K8s? God, I love it when this happens. Shout out, well done, project writers, Natasha and Kahu on the projects. Read my mind. K8s is short for Kubernetes. The 8 represents the 8 letters between K and S in Kubernetes. It's a common abbreviation developers use. Hey, that's kind of cool. Do you know what else? In startup world, there's a really big investor firm called A16Z, and they do exactly the same thing. It's called like Andreessen Horowitz, and it's such a long name that they just abbreviated it A and then 16 characters and then Z at the end. But this is cooler, I think, because you're actually using this on the day-to-day. Imagine if everyone used their names like this. I would be like A for like Amber. Doesn't sound as cool. I think there's got to be like at least 8 characters. In Cursor, select the new file in the File Explorer and then save the file as K8s. All right, file. Is this where they wanted us to go? In the File Explorer. Hold on. New file. Appreciate the image there. Thank you very much. Oh, nice. Okay, I created that. Paste in this content. Yeehaw. Oh, goodbye, terminal. No longer required. Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform. Okay. Well, we all know that now, don't we? Press Command S on Mac or Control S on Windows. Hey, I thought I told you earlier that I was already a Mac. Why should I have to think about this again? Not as cool, huh? This is the thing, is that ideally the project knows what operating system you're on, and then everything is just in those instructions. Like, why is it Mac choose here and then Mac later down here? I just want to select once and then be done. And then it should remember it for all projects so that I don't have to keep changing. Help me help you is what I'm saying to this project right now. Anyway, did I save this? I didn't. Too busy yapping. Create an embedded Python file. What does this do? It converts my text document into embeddings, numerical representations that help the API quickly find relevant information when answering questions. Oh, interesting. Embeddings are like a smart index in a library. Instead of searching word by word through every book, embeddings are numbers that help APIs understand the meaning behind the text, making searches much faster. Whoa, like a secret language, like a secret handshake. What is Chroma DB? Wait, where does Chroma come into this? Why we need Chroma right now? ChromaDB is a database that stores your embeddings. Okay. See this explanation here, ChromaDB? I'm like, why do I need to know Chroma? Which means that when that happens, this explanation is a little bit too early in the piece. It should be like, oh, what's Chroma? And then the answer's there. That's the magic experience. And it shouldn't be, why do I need to, is this wasting my time? So I'm going to say, move this later down when we actually feel the need to know it. And this is a big part of what makes a NextWork project feel so good, is that we want you to feel why you need to learn something. Not just learning something because of the theory, not just learning something because it's the right thing to check off, but learning it because you realize that you need it to build, you need it to create. And a project, a really good project, you shouldn't even really feel like you're having to learn the theory first. It should just happen as you go. So, and there's a lot of nuance that goes into that here. All right, create a new file. Also, I'm sorry if I'm chatting too much. Please let me know. I'm very happy to just focus a bit more in. I can get a little distracted sometimes, so apologies for that. Paste this content in. Whoa, check it out. Import, see in here, this is where I'm thinking, oh, what's ChromaDB, right? So it should almost be like here, this code block, and then below it, then we have this, because now this is like a little before. I gotta be hungry. Make me hungry for the information. Then I'll understand it better. Import ChromaDB, client equals this, collection equals this. Then clear the existing documents. Right, this is our embeddings work, I think. Copy this, paste it in. I'm just gonna leave it. Embedding stored in Chroma. Right, so we're storing the embeddings in Chroma. Save the file. Hold on. Can I understand what this does? Someone give me a clue. I'm here to learn. Certainly, Amber. Do you know, when we started this and we were testing the chat, we made it talk to us entirely in cowboy, howdy language, and I kind of miss it. Every sentence was like, howdy, Amber. It was really cool. There's a snake in my boot, there's a snake in your code. It was awesome. Bring it back. This code snippet sets up a ChromaDB client, prepares a collection, and then embeds the content of the K8 text. Oh, so we have our K8 file, and then now we're embedding that. We're making kind of that secret handshake sort of vibe. And this is storing all of that in the ChromaDB, in the Chroma database. Right, collection, client. Right, okay. If there's an existing ID, delete that. We don't want that. And then open the existing file, read it, and then add it. Makes sense. Great. Thank you, chat. Save the file, already ahead of you. Create app.py. What does app.py do? This is your RAG API. It combines retrieval, searching your knowledge base, with generation. Retrieval with generation, creating answers using AI. When someone sends a question, your API searches your embedded documents, right, which we just created. Now I know what embedded means. Sends that context. Actually, you know what? I have a question about embedded stuff. How is it actually doing that? What is it indexing? And how does it know, based on that index, what's actually in the file? Does anyone know how that works? Would love to hear your thoughts. Surely it's got to read the information at some point. Otherwise, how does it know what's in that file? Interesting. Searches your embedded documents for relevant context, sends that context and that question to an AI model, Tiny Llama, returns that AI's natural language answer. And what is Fast API? You might notice that Fast API is the first thing we import at the top of the code. Fast API is a Python framework for building APIs. Great name. Create another new file. Man, on fire. App.py. Paste this content. Well, mega. You know what would be useful in here? Some more comments. Oh, there's a comment. Why is it the same? Use this environment variable. Okay, see in here, this and this code block here, this comment isn't written properly because it's not actually registering this as a comment. You know, in code blocks, they show up. Let's see, I'll show you. Hold on a second. App.py, put this in here. See here, this is a comment. It's like actually commented out, which means that something weird is going on with the formatting in this code block, which is like not okay because I was looking for comments to understand what's going on. So I'm just going to add a note, you know, comment formatting in code block isn't being applied. And that's important because the comments are useful for actually reading and understanding what's going on. And when we can't see it clearly, then we might be missing some really useful information. So this is our app.py, save the file. All right, and it doesn't really explain either what we're doing here, so I'm just going to use this. It'd be nice maybe if there was a little bit of a little prompt here for people who may be new to NextWork that says, hey, if you want to know more about this code block, you can ask, you know, use the chat, get curious, have that conversation. So I'm going to say prompt learners after code block to chat with the ask panel to understand more if they wish. If you're just in like copy paste mode, then that's totally fine too. But I'm interested in what's going on here. So this code snippet defines a fast API application that acts as a RAG API. All right, so this is actually building our RAG API here. It allows you to query a knowledge base stored in ChromaDB, generates answers using a Llama language model. Okay. There's a little bit going on. I think also in here, maybe diagrams would be useful again. I agree on the need for something a little bit more visual. I think that's quite important. Save the file, create embeddings. My goodness, we're still going. Okay. Do you know what? I wish that there was like progress. Like how far through are we? We still got lots to go. Okay. Create embeddings. Right now, you have your knowledge base file with raw text and you've created the script embed.py that will convert it to embeddings. But you haven't run the script yet, so your API doesn't have any embeddings to search through. Oh, interesting. Let's run the embedding script to convert your text into embeddings and store them in a ChromaDB. Okay, you know what? At this point, I actually really do think a diagram would be really useful to understand what's going on. I feel the need to almost draw out a diagram so that I can understand where the script is for embed.py, where the knowledge base file is, and how this is working with ChromaDB. I actually think that there was at the top. Okay, hold on a second, excuse me. I'm just coming right back up. I remember there was a cool diagram here. Kind of tells us something. Oh, here we go. This is what we're doing. K8 text app.py embed.py. So this is what we're setting up right now. Okay. Kind of useful, but also kind of not very useful. Let's see if I can find my spot again. Oh my goodness. Does anyone else find that sometimes you lose your spot in a project? Because that happens to me quite often. We used to have a bookmark feature, but it was kind of buggy, so we removed it. But I do think that the problem remains, right? Like the scrolling and that problem remains. Let's have a look. Awesome, just scrolling a bit up in the Discord chat. Roy says, I love how Amber runs this lab. You can catch the bigger ideas and how she explains things, and it gives you a nice sense of where NextWork is headed. Oh, thanks, Roy. Yeah, I did that when I did my interactive lab. Awesome. Very, very cool. The Pomodoro is a lifesaver for me, helps me focus a lot better. I think so too. Sloth says there could be a feature or a little info how many people are doing the project when you are also working on it, like 230 also working right with you. Yeah, that'd be cool. Do you know what? That reminds me of a much more wholesome version of when you're buying something online and sometimes it says like, 10 other people are buying this right now, or, it's like pop-ups. It's like someone's bought this product. And then it's like, wow. It's like a way better version of that. Nice. So many product ideas. Oh, put them in. I totally understand. I get distracted too. Me too, Roy. The ask feature pulls me in every time, especially when it gives me something fun and unexpected, like giving a Lord of the Rings tone. What is the Lord of the Rings tone? I want to have that. Do I just need to turn on my sound? That sounds cool. Do you know what would be even cooler is if you could like share between people something in the ask, like some sort of fun thing. I don't know what it'd be, but some community element that we could share around. All right, before embedding, text is first split into small pieces called tokens. Each token is assigned a unique number and ID from a predefined vocabulary. These numbers are then converted into vectors using a trained embedded model, which learns to place similar meanings close together based on how words appear in real text, and the conversion is deterministic. I think that this is where I would be like, okay, I'm actually writing this down like a old school thing around vectors. Look, I even have like drawings of, oh, you can't even see, rip, drawings of maps and graphs and stuff that we're thinking about for NextWork. See, in this I'm writing like embeddings, and then I'm writing like 5 question marks after it. How does that work? Seems like a bit of a deep dive. Roy says embedding is like a silent party. Words do not talk, they just stand around. Words with similar meaning naturally stand close together. The computer watches the spacing and decides what is related based on who is standing next by. Oh, that's kind of an interesting way to explain it. A silent party. So you're kind of looking for like similar sorts of things that you can group together at kind of a high level, is my understanding of it. Kind of cool. In the future, it would be great if you could almost like highlight something like this and then be like, generate me a project just on understanding this. That'd be cool. All right, paste this. Okay, slow down, Amber. Don't just run into the pasting. Read actually what's going on. Create embeddings. Right now you have your knowledge file. Okay, script. Right, you haven't run the script yet. So let's run the embedding script to convert your text into embeddings and then store them in a ChromaDB. Okay, paste this into your terminal and click enter. Terminal, paste. I am just going to add a note though to my own notes here for our project writers. Put a little more guidance / clarity around embeddings. Do you know what they're probably going to say? Amber, there is in project 1 if you'd done that. We highly, strongly recommend that you do project 1. All right, I guess. And see, okay, great experience is that if something like this happens and then it's like, have more questions about embeddings, do project 1. I can already see it. That's what they're going to be asking me. Exactly. Hey. All right, you should see embedding stored in Chroma. I do. What just happened? I love that. I think that's what I think most of the time. The script read your K8 text, my Kubernetes file, converted it into embeddings, stored them in a ChromaDB database, and now your API can quickly... Okay, I understand what's going on. Now we can actually start to access some of our data. Let's check that your database was created correctly. In the project directory, check that the db/folder exists. Oh, it does. Expand. Actually, I'm just going to save this for a second. I noticed it. It's not saved. If you see the little dot up there, DB looks good. Whoa. Binary, 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 binary. SQLite. I wonder if anyone else has like click mania, where they just start clicking on things. I definitely have that. I do see my Chroma database files inside, but they're all in binary, so I can't really understand them. Install Olama. Your RAG API needs Olama to run generating answers. What is Olama? Olama is a tool that lets you run large language models locally on your own computer. Okay, all right. I have heard of Olama, and I think we have other projects on it, which I've done. Instead of sending requests to cloud services like OpenAI or Anthropic, Olama runs the AI model directly on your machine. This gives you complete privacy, no API costs, and the ability to work offline. We're going to bypass big tech, do our own. All right, in your terminal, run this command. Olama, it's you and me. Let's go. Oh, could not connect to a running Olama instance. Man. Sometimes I see this and I'm like, what a setup. What a setup, NextWork. Don't worry, this error just means your command is trying to talk to Olama and Olama service isn't running yet. Yeah. Having a day off. Not on my watch. Here we go. Open Olama. Open a Olama tells Mac, how come we got an explanation for this one, but not an explanation for our other ones? I had to go and do the work there. That's not cool. Why? Where's the consistency team? What's going on? To explain or not to explain. Code blocks. Inconsistent. What are we doing? That A flag specifies the application name and macOS will find it in your application folder. Do you know what would be a fun challenge? What if you only could use the command line to operate your computer? So all file navigation, all opening of applications, entirely just like terminal commands. It's kind of like writing with your left hand for a week. I think it would be actually very frustrating very quickly. But some people do, you know. We had a fantastic engineer who would just operate entirely from command lines. Very, very interesting. You should see the Olama icon appear in your menu bar. Say what? Oh, here. It's Olama. Wait 5 to 10 seconds for Olama to start, then rerun the command that showed the error. For example, curl or Olama pull or Olama run. Guys, what do you mean? I didn't do any of that. I didn't have an Olama run, Olama pull, Olama, llama. Happy llama, sad llama. I'm just gonna make it up. I'm just gonna try an Olama run. That seems like the most obvious thing to do. Error. All right. What does this mean? Open Olama. Run this command. I cannot see a command. I can't see. Okay, I'm gonna go back up here. I'm gonna try a new version. Okay, we got a version now. We got a version number. I see a version number. All right, Olama version. Great. Verify Olama is running. So run this command. All right, let's run this command. Olama is running. Whoa, how did I do that? What did I do? Run this command, you should see. Okay. All right, this one here, this command one here should actually come after we run the command, because did you notice that when I did this, I said, I see a version number, then I came down here, and then it was like, let's double check that it's running. Also, why, see here, this has got great, let's verify it's working properly, verify Olama is running, to be sure we can double check. Like, all right, this could be a little more efficient, guys. So what does this command do in here? And then we do this one, but then I have questions. This is in the wrong order. Wrong order for explanations. Show the code command first, and then tell me about it. Also simplify the verification text. Like we've already so much to read in this project. We don't want to have to read 3 different sentences that say the same thing. We can simplify that down. Okay, I do see a llama is running. Fantastic. A llama is running. Yeehaw. Now I need a tiny llama. I don't know who came up with these names, but they're so cute. Great! With a llama installed and running, you're ready to start running AI models locally. We'll use Tiny Llama for this project. It's a smaller, faster model, perfect for learning and local development. I wonder if they have Big Llama, or like Giant Llama, or like a Dinosaur Llama. Tiny Llama is an AI model. All right, nice, I understand that. First, let's check if you already had the Tiny Llama model. Tiny Llama, let's go. A llama list. I have DeepSeek. No, I do not have Tiny Llama. No worries. All right, let's go, Tiny Llama. It's kind of like Pokemon. I choose you, Tiny Llama. Let's go. Could you recommend the tea that you're drinking? It's called startup tea. Llama Llama. Papa Llama. Success! The download may take 2 to 5 minutes. I don't think so. I'm fast. While we wait, here's a recap. So far, you've installed Python, set up your environment, got a llama, verified a llama, get Tiny Llama, test, once this download finishes, you'll test Tiny Llama, then build a RAG API, then connect that Tiny Llama to a llama. And finally, you wire in your own documents so Tiny Llama can answer your questions. This is so cute. Wait for success. My computer's taking too long. Not my computer. We should see Tiny Llama. I do see Tiny Llama. Okay, you know what? In here, I mean, it feels good to know that everyone else is having potentially errors and I'm just Tiny Llama winning. But I feel like I already said it was good up here. You know, run this command. This is a lot of scroll for things that don't apply to me. Can't help it. My internet is fast. Awesome, your API will use it to generate AI responses. Okay, great. Test your RAG API. Let's verify that it works. What does UVcorn do? UVcorn. Okay, again, guys. We got a wrong order of operations here. Why do we have the explanation and then the code? Get me hungry, get my mind, you know, Natasha always says the 2 best ingredients for a really good meal is time and hunger. And I'm not hungry. Like, why would I be hungry right now for UV corn? I'm not, you know. Make me hungry. Everything tastes better when you're hungry. Okay, so put code block above the explanation. Make me hungry for knowledge. I want to know. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know why it's here. There's nothing worse than being told information that you feel is pointless. And that's what happens if this comes before this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste this in first into my terminal. Whoop. And then I'm going to understand what's going on. UVcorn is a web server that runs your fast application. Fast API application. The command UVcorn app tells UVcorn to look for a file called app. Right, we've got that. Find the fast API instance named app inside that file. The second app. Oh, confusing. Why do we have 2 apps? I'm confused. file called app.py, the first app, the second app. Since when do we have two apps? Guys. We'll put in some feedback here. Do you know what would be nice is if we could leave feedback in the project. Why two apps? Am I missing something? The command tells you we're going to look. Okay, I understand that we've got an app.py file. Then we've got this fast API instance named app inside that file. Start a web server that runs your API. I don't understand what that's got there. The reload flag automatically restarts the server when you change code. Perfect for development. Okay. I'm just going to say, very, very confused. I'm a good test because I'm easily confused with this. So make sure your virtual environment is activated. You should see the, oh, I didn't check that. Start your RAG API. Was it activated? Yes, I was. I was in the VEMV. I was in my virtual environment. Okay, success, you should see output like info. It's running. Okay. Info, this is running. You know, sometimes even if I don't understand fully what's going on, I just have faith that as I go, I'm going to understand it. So I will continue. Application startup complete. Let's test your API in the new terminal tab. Keep the server running in the first one. Okay, look, we've got kind of some confusing language going on. We've got two apps. We've got a server. Sorry, team. I'm taking notes. Where did the server come from? What about the two apps? Select the new terminal button and a new terminal will open. Activate your virtual environment in these tabs. Guys, I've already got a virtual environment going. Okay. I promise everyone else, if you come to another team members testing, then they're going to be a lot better than I am. Why do we have two virtual environments going? Okay, here we go. New terminal. Here we go. Oh, nope. That is not what I want. I would like to copy this one and then put this one in here. Okay. Now we got number 2. Now I testing my API. Okay. Get something data. Query what is Kubernetes. Okay, I think this is just like querying my RAG and saying what is Kubernetes. Dun, bum, bum, bum. Wow, it's thinking pretty hard. I'm just going to check out my other stuff. Waiting for application startup complete. That one looks fine. This one was just my Python version. Impatience is kicking in. Let's try it again. A new terminal will open up beneath your existing terminal. Activate your environment. Copy, paste. Okay, looks good. NextWork. Let's test your API. You should see a JSON response. I wonder why the JSON response here is a code block, not an image, because we don't need to copy that. Why is the code block not an image? Do we need to copy that JSON response? Also, how do we know when our virtual environment is going? And then, oh, yeehaw. Look at that. Sure. Kubernetes. Wow, spelling. Kubernetes is a term that it refers to Kubernetes, the popular container orchestration platform used to manage containers at scale. It is short for Kubernetes platform. Oh, awesome. Nice. Is it me being impatient or is it my code? It's me being impatient. Nice work. Okay, here's my screenshot. Oop. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Screenshot complete. Whew. I tested my RAG API. My goodness. By querying, wait. And here, we didn't even explain this command. Explain this command. Let's try. Somehow, I think that the explanations that are written in the project are still better than sometimes what you get in the ask. Explain this command to me. But I'm just gonna do both anyway. How does this work? I test my RAG API by querying my app. The curl command is used to send a post request to your running fast API applications query endpoint. Okay, so the curl is for transferring data with URLs. Okay, so I need to use that to put in the URL of my fast API application. What happens if we go to this URL anyway? It's URL, right? What happens if we go to that? Method not allowed. Oh, what if I just go to details not found? Interesting. Interesting. I tested my RAG API by querying my application that I created with fast API, Python, and ChromaDB. The API responded with, oh, that's sneaky. Is that why this is in this one? That's quite sneaky. I wonder if you really need that with answer, because that's actually not what mine said. This one says Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform, but my one actually says, sure. It says this one. Kind of sneaky. This confirms that my app works. My app, well, actually, my API works. Perfect. Your RAG API is working. Now let's automate test development. Whew. Do you know what would also be useful? See this? This is like a minimize step, like chevron button here. But you don't really want to minimize it at the top. You kind of want to minimize it when you get to the bottom, don't you? So we should put that there. You should be able to minimize a step at the bottom of a step. Minimize a step at the bottom of the step. Okay. Also, at this point, it'd be really cool to check out your documentation because you kind of submitted some stuff. So maybe we have some sort of prompt if you haven't opened it then to have a look at my work. Ooh, automate testing with GitHub Actions. Look, I think I'm doing a lot more than this. Introducing today's project. Learn how to set up your RAG API. Oh, spelling mistake. Local API verification. Okay, nice. All right, it's looking good. Close my work. Did that feel like a little dramatic close here. Maybe it needs to be, instead of like an X, like a kind of minimize. So it doesn't feel like you might lose your work. Anyway, push your code to GitHub. How much longer do we have here? Is this a 2-hour event, Maya? Is this 2 hours? 2 hours. All right. We're 1 hour in, 1 hour 15, and we're 1 step down. Out of 6, not even secret mission. Can we do the rest in 45 minutes? Take your bets. I won't be offended. Push your code to GitHub. Now that your RAG API works locally, let's get it on GitHub so we can set it up with automated testing. Oh, finally. What is GitHub? GitHub is a platform. Okay, I already know GitHub. What I don't know is GitHub Actions, the CI/CD tool set up, built directly into GitHub, making it easy to automate testing. What is Git? Do you know when I started, it actually took me a little bit to understand the relationship between Git, GitHub, all of these things. But I get it. Okay, moving on. In this step, you're going to set up your Git in your project, create a GitHub repository, push your codes to GitHub. All right, I'm initializing Git by, guys, we haven't even gotten there yet. What do you mean I'm initializing Git by? That's just rubbish. I think that we can do a lot better than that. Not initializing Git by doing what? What does that even mean? Where does it say? How am I meant to know? Version control enables CI/CD to do what? Okay, what are we doing in this step? This does not relate to what we've been told. Delete it all. In this step, next, I'm going to set up Git for my project, create a GitHub repository, repo, and then push my project to GitHub. Why? So I can use GitHub Actions, which is what I want to learn about. And CI/CD stuff. So I can impress all my LinkedIn friends and show off to my coworkers. Ha 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 ha. No, just kidding. So I can create robust applications that will be less human error prone. One day I will answer a project with just the opposite of professional answers, and we'll see what we come up with. Yeah, anyway, this was like, I'm just going to exit that and then take a screenshot of this and say, look, guys, that was a very confusing prompt. Confusing prompt for the task. I don't think I really, where was this coming from? Initialize a Git repository. Let's turn your project folder into a Git repository. First, we'll make sure you're in your project directory. Run this command and click enter. Run this command where? In the terminal. Run this command in the terminal, please. Right. PWD. Okay, look, I've got a few new terminal things going on right now. I think we're going to make a new terminal. PWD. What does PWD mean? What does it mean? Sometimes they've got actually, oh, you've got it here, PWD. See, great experience. I'm hungry. I saw this. I'm like, wow, what does it mean? I'm hungry for knowledge. And then I scroll down. Oh, man, satisfied, satiated. That's a fantastic learning experience. You should see a path engine in NextWork RAG API like this. I do. Nice. Print working directory. Initialize a Git repository. Let's go. Get in it. Get it done. What's up with all these GIFs? What is that? Get jiggy with it. That's right. All right. Hint, using master at the same time. Okay. All right. I don't need hints. Okay, you should see this. What just happened? All right. I'm not a Git professional, but I have used it before. Wow, guys, there's a lot of text going on here. Look, we got text, big text here, too much text. And then this one is also like, we're just hitting walls of text. Oh my goodness. How many people are scrolling over this? Probably everyone. How many people are scrolling over these explanations? All right, too much text in one go. There's something about it when you know that there's a lot of text coming up, it makes you feel less inclined to read the text in front of you. You know, it's like, oh man, but there's still so much to go. I've got to read this. Oh, I'm just going to start scrolling until like I see something that I can do. See, even now, it's like I scroll down to here and then it says paste this content. So I think, oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. Before we commit our code, let's tell Git which files to ignore. Again, like, yeah, too much text in one go. Put the action first. Action first. Let's create a git ignore file. Okay, then let's create it. Why are we taking so long? Select a new file. New file in here. Oh, that was wrong. That was sneaky, see in there? A new file from the explore menu. So I think that we need to make sure that we're here. And then we go new file. This doesn't feel right. I feel like it's creating it in my database. Doesn't feel right. New file. It doesn't tell me where we want to be creating it. Yeah, git ignore shouldn't be in the file. Create a new file from the explore menu. There's actually a, I'm going to add that as a little note. Be careful because you don't want to create your file in your database. So I'm just writing a note here. Be more specific with the instruction about exactly where the file is being created. Not in the DB folder, in the root folder. So let's try and get that going. Create new. See, even here, it's really not great. Why does it keep doing that? I can go new file here. There we go. That's interesting. Trixie, that could actually end up being quite problematic, I feel, if you set that up in the wrong place. Be careful now. Git ignore. Press enter. Okay, nice. Why does the file name start with a dot? Great. Nice. Okay, git ignore. Paste this content. We're ignoring a lot of stuff. Git ignore. Oh, it's my terminal. Goodbye, terminal. Okay. Save. Why do we ignore these files? The two most important entries in this git ignore file are V virtual environments. Each developer should create their own virtual environment. Nice. Highlight. DB, the Chroma database folder contains your embeddings and can be very large. This can be regenerated in a CI/CD in CI/CD when the workflow runs the embedding script, so we don't need to commit it. Oh, knowledge. Each environment should build its own database. Right, also connected to the virtual environment. Keeping these out makes your repository cleaner, faster to clone, and prevents conflicts between different development environments. Oh my goodness, these are long. These are long. Too long. Look, if I zoom out here, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, how much do I have to zoom out before I can see this whole thing in one? 40%. All right, too long. Too much explanation. Not enough doing. A little bit can be useful, but not everything. Yeah. If I have to scroll more than once to get past an explanation, it's too long. All right, add files to Git. Let's stage all the projects for the first commit. Okay, run this command, press enter. Git add. Wow, all of this just to do git add, git commit. It's quite a lot. What does git add do? Yeah, I think this is a little too much for what's going on here. Check what stage, run this command and click enter. Git status. On branch master, no commits yet. Changes to be committed. Nice. Okay. Nice. Commit your code. Create your first commit. Yeah, I feel like this could be really simplified. I think we're overcomplicating this now. Initial commit. What does this command do? Git commit saves all your stage changes to Git's history. The M flag lets you add a message. Nice. You should see the output flowing. What does this output mean? Let's break down what Git is telling you. Yeah. Kind of cool. I think, again, there's probably a little bit too much. I think this can be simplified. Simplify this down, please. Simplify this down. All right. How did you initialize Git? I initialized Git by running Git init. Then I staged, we should really be able to input code snippets into your documentation, I think. That would be really useful. Implement code snippets. Wouldn't it be fun? Into your docs. So that then you can like copy and paste your code later, go back to old commands. That would be awesome. I initialized Git by running git init, then I staged and committed my changes. The git ignore file helps by ignoring files that are only relevant to my own virtual environment, not needed for others to run or use my API. Cool. Create a GitHub repo. I think that we already understand why we're using GitHub. What? This is step 2. Step 2 needs to be cut down massively on the amount of text and repetition content. We're using GitHub because GitHub Actions, the CI/CD tool we're building in this project, is built directly into GitHub. When we push our code to GitHub, GitHub Actions can automatically detect changes. I really feel like we've already heard this. Highlight red. Open your web browser, go to github.com. All right, here we go. We're in github.com. Click the top plus, new repository. What is a new repository? We've already got that. Choose your GitHub profile, repository name. Oh, choose an owner. It's me, Mario. And the description, RAG API with CI/CD pipeline. Nice. Visibility, choose public. Create. All right. Public, add a README. I always like READMEs. Git ignore, add license. All right, great. Let's go. You'll see a page of setup instructions. Keep this page open. All right, connect local Git to GitHub. This is getting hefty. Let's link your local Git repository to the GitHub repo you just created. Yeah, I think this is getting a little bit big. On the GitHub repo page, find the section or push an existing repository from the command line. Whoop, didn't get it. think I missed that. Push an existing one from the command line. Code. Copy the first line with your SSH repository URL. It should look like this. Okay. I think it's this one. We're freestyling now. Oh, get remote add origin. GitHub. Get remote add origin. Oh, this looks like it. You don't have any public SSH keys. I feel like in this you don't. Yeah, I think why would you use SSH and not HTTPS? Seems weird. Let's have a look. Why not use HTML instead of SSH? And I'll just take a screenshot of this so that people are aware of what's going on. Okay, I'm just going to go like this. And then in here, I'm going to go get remote add origin. Get remote add origin like this. Cool. Did the job. Why are we using SSH? It's being phased out, but SSH only works if you have a public SSH key, which we don't. So run this command to test your SSH connection to GitHub. But do we need this for anything else? Not really. I see you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. This is normal and expected. It means SSH authentication is working perfectly. Authenticate, authenticate. This seems like a bit of a hassle. Configure Git. This is your first time using Git. Oh my goodness. Why do we need to configure Git? All right, well, this is getting crazy. Have we committed and updated? Configure, 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 git push. Okay, here's the push. Git branch, origin, remote. All right, I'm freestyling this. This is getting a bit confusing. Git branch here. We're in the master branch. We're adding a new branch because it's always a good idea. Well, if it's just the first commit, I think we can just do it. Git status, let's have a look. Nothing to commit. Okay, so we're going to go git push origin. And then we're going to set upstream, go for it. All right, branch master set to track origin master. That's what we want. Set your default branch name to main. We can do that if we want. Why main? I think it's kind of personal preference. You don't have to exactly do that. Okay, cool. Configure. Why do we need to check your Git instructions here? Why do we need to check Git here? Why do we need to check Git here? We've already been using it. Run these commands to check your Git configuration. This seems kind of strange. All right. Compare and pull request. Ooh. Refresh. See what's going on. Looking good. Yeah, seems good to me. Push, pull request. Compare. See what's changed. Compare and review. Choose different ones. Master into main. There isn't anything to compare. Compare across forks. Let's have a look. Main. Master. Oh, there we go. We got it. We got it. We got it. One commit ahead of, one commit behind main. Ah, I see. So we've got two branches in here. We've got main. We've got master. Right. So if we go back here and we go get branch, then this one's in master. Branch master set up to track, get app, push. Right, okay, cool. I wonder if we can just do like a little pull request here. Sneaky, sneaky. There isn't anything to compare. Branches, master, 10 minutes, example comparisons. This is main. We want to compare it with master. Looks fine to me. One commit ahead and one commit behind. Get branch. Create a pull request. Let's see what happens if we click this. Let's find out what's going on. Yeah, same thing. There isn't anything to compare. All right. Well, we're just going to charge ahead and see what happens here. But I think that this one could be a little clearer for those who don't have SSH keys. Let's try it. All right. Pushing to get means pushing changes to GitHub. This enables CI/CD because we need our code in GitHub for this to operate. How clear was that step? Not very clear. Configure, push to origin, branch. SSH, connect to local repo. Yeah, this I think could be a little clearer, especially for those that need to set up other things. We will go over this and adjust. Either way, if you can get, I think the main thing here is that your code isn't Git. But the reading time on that was quite long as well. I think that there's quite a lot of reading for that. So create semantic tests. Before we automate anything with CI/CD, let's create tests for our RAG system locally and see how they behave. In this step, you'll create semantic tests and run those tests against your RAG API. What are semantic tests? Semantic tests check that your RAG system returns right answers with the right meaning, not just the right format. Okay. So semantic is not about data quality. Oh, it is about data quality, not just code correctness. Interesting. Why create tests before automation? That makes sense. Okay, in this step, you're going to create semantic tests, run tests locally and see tests passed, experiment with breaking and fixing your knowledge base, test your API repeatedly, discover an important challenge. Gosh, guys, this is a lot. Let's simplify this down so that it's just like 3 things. in this step. Otherwise, it's too much. Okay, I'm creating semantic tests that verify the quality of my answers, and like unit tests that check code, logic, semantic tests, validate if the actual answers make sense. These tests ensure quality by, well, it depends how you write them, I guess, by making sure that the answers actually make sense. Oh, I've already said that. This could be better. Could be better worded. Do you know what I actually want to just check here? If I go into my assistant, I'm using Comet, by the way, if anyone's used Comet. It's a really, really good AI browser. And I just want to say, read this entire project step by step and judge the human reading time for everything here. This project says it should take, I think, 90 minutes. The full step-by-step track you're reviewing would take an average developer roughly 85 to 110 minutes of focused human reading time, not actually counting doing any of the hands-on commands or setups. Screenshotting this, aren't we? I think there's too much reading in this project. Okay. All right. Create semantic test script. Let's write tests that check if our RAG system retrieved the correct information. We'll create these tests first and automate them with CI. In cursor, select the new file icon, and then we're doing this one here. Okay. New file, semantic test.py. Paste in this content. Import requests, define. Okay, cool. All right, nice. Code and then explanation. Very, very cool. Got our same one here. What is Kubernetes? This is what we did earlier, actually. I recognize it. Very nice. Paste this content. What does this code do? This script. Test script verifies that your RAG API returns semantically correct answers. Import requests imports the request library to make HTTP requests to your API. Imports the request library. What does that mean? What does that mean? Makes HTTP requests. What does this mean? All right, test Kubernetes query function sends a post request to your RAG API with the question, what is Kubernetes? Extracts the JSON response and gets the answer field. Uses assert statements to check if the answer contains key concepts like orchestration and container, converted to lowercase for case insensitive matching. What does that mean? Convert to lowercase for case insensitive matching. I think it means, I guess, that if it was like a mismatch in uppercase, lowercase, that it would still find it. If both keywords are found, prints a success message. Okay, cool. This is a semantic test. Instead of checking for exact text matches, it checks for the presence of important concepts. Interesting. How does it get the concepts? To see if the answer contains key concepts like orchestration. Is it key concepts or keywords? Because if both keywords are found, but it sounds like it is actually checking for exact text matches because we're looking for keywords are found rather than concepts. So are we looking for exact matches of keywords or are we not? Not super clear. Let's check. I'll just leave some feedback for that one too. All right. When I was about to do this, I was talking to Maya and I was like, do you think it's going to be really terrible if I talk out loud about all of the comments and critiques I have for a project as we go? And she was like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. And I can see why, because it doesn't make for a very exciting video to watch, I do have to say. So very apologies for this. I can assure you that the rest of the team will be a lot more on track. This is probably going to be the most chaotic one. And that's because I am always thinking about how this could be better and how this can make more sense. Um, and that is my job. So it's very hard for me to actually do a project and not be thinking about those things. So if you are following along, paying attention, I do really appreciate your patience with this. And hopefully, if nothing else, it's an interesting insight into what my team has to go through when they're working with me and getting feedback. So you can hopefully just empathize a bit more with them because they will be on the receiving end of all of this feedback for sure. All right, let me just write this little piece here around, are we actually looking for keyword matches or are we not? Or are we looking for concept matches? Keyword matches or concept matches? I think that they're actually looking for the exact word. Container is my understanding of this. Semantic test script locally. Test the semantic test script locally. Why is there all caps? Oh dear, it can be a little difficult sometimes. All right, in the terminal, make sure your API is running. Reload. I think it already had this one in here. Is it already running? Maybe we can check. I don't know if it was this one. I think it's already there. Oh well, let's run it again. Reload. Reloading. I see the API starting successfully. I see command not found. All right, it's running. Okay, let's test our API in the new terminal tab. Select new terminal. Guys, I have so many terminals open already. Why do we have so many terminals open already? I've already got all of this. Look at this. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 already. And why do we need to activate the virtual environment? A new terminal tab, it doesn't automatically have your virtual environment activated. Guys, I think I'm already there. I think I've already got it. This one, we're already here. Virtual environment. This is in step 3. Step 3. Like, too many terminal tabs. We're drowning. We're drowning in tabs. Let's reduce, reuse, recycle our terminal tabs. Otherwise, I think things do get kind of chaotic. Because terminal tabs also, they're not exactly the most user-friendly to tell what's going on. We could be drowning in tabs. Let's reduce, reuse. Let's be, in New Zealand, we call it, let's be a tidy Kiwi. Be tidy Kiwi here. All right, run the semantic test. Oh yeah. Looking for either keywords or concepts. We're not entirely too sure. Let's see what we can come up with. I remember last time it took a little bit of time. Oh, Kubernetes query test passed. All semantic test passed. Okay, I want to try out some stuff. This is my semantic test. I'm deviating. I'm going a little bit off script here because I want to know, are we looking for actual answers or not? So where was so in here, this was what I asked. What is Kubernetes? And it used container or orchestration. So I want to know if I use another word for that. What's another term for orchestration? I want to know if I look for another term, is it actually looking for that exact word? So if I use workflow automation, since it's talking about, orchestration, it should be fine. So there should be missing orchestration concept. So this is now a concept test rather than like an actual keyword test. If it's looking for related stuff, yeah, missing orchestration concept. But actually the orchestration, the concept itself is still there. So I wonder if you look for orchestra, or maybe if I spell it wrong, orchestra. Let's see if it also gets it wrong. I think it's just looking for the exact keyword, right? Yeah, looking for the exact keyword, which is interesting because sometimes an LLM might not actually contain the exact keyword. Orchestration. Yeah, which is interesting. So this could be useful, but I feel like it's not fail-safe. It depends on the vocab, which isn't always reliable. All right, test passed. Nice. What does this mean? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're kind of looking for keywords, aren't you? But keywords isn't always the same as something being covered. Perfect. The test script works. Okay, nice. Let's see what happens. Let's intentionally remove a keyword from the Kubernetes document to see how the system behaves. Oh yeah, I already tried that one. But I guess this is just doing it for a different sort of thing. It looks like they're restarting the database. So let's give it a go. All right. So I think they were going to remove the word orchestration in here. Save the file. We're breaking it because it's fun. Rebuild embeddings. Since we changed the source document, we need to rebuild the embeddings so they reflect the updated content. Oh, why do you need to rebuild embeddings? When you change the knowledge base document, you need to regenerate the embeddings. Okay, that makes sense. Delete the old database. What? Surely we can just update it. Why do we need to delete it? Ask, can we update our database instead of delete it to check the new KAS.txt file? I think that there's something really important when you're learning, that you're always a student and you're not a follower. A follower, you should always take your own advice, take your own instruction, and then get advice from other people, including the NextWork project. The NextWork project is here to guide and advise, but be a student. Question it. Challenge it. Challenge yourself. Why are we doing this? Is this right? Maybe there's a better way. It makes it way more interesting. It should be a conversation. Have a conversation with the project. And you learn a lot more. Yes, you can update your ChromaDB database instead of deleting and re-adding documents every time. Here's a concise breakdown. How to update. Okay, I think that we're just trying to avoid errors. Like, keep everyone on the same page here. I do have to say that this seems kind of crazy. Virtual environment, all right. Delete. Yoink. Gone. Run it again. Okay. Because if this was really large, I remember earlier in the project we read that these can get quite large, these embeddings. Could be quite the effort to actually do this again. Test your API directly to see what happens. Return to a terminal tab where your API is running. Okay. Oh, we need to stop the server again so that can rebuild the embeddings. Nice. Whoop. That's this one. There we go. All right, Control C, stop. Also, you can just use the up arrow if you want to run your latest command again. Cool. All right, that's running. Test the API directly. All right, we need the API again. Here we go. Virtual environment, let's run it. What is Kubernetes? Tell me the truth. Do you know, it would have been fun actually to just put a random answer in here. See, in this one it says Kubernetes, also known as a container orchestration platform. What does this command do? Run the command 3 to 5 times and watch the output carefully. All right. It was like, I'm sick of giving this output. Here's a way shorter sentence. We don't have time for this. Yeah, it's like getting shorter and shorter every time. Me too. What is happening? Non-deterministic LLM behavior. Tiny Llama was trained on data that includes Kubernetes and orchestration together, and even though our source document no longer contains orchestration, the LLM sometimes adds it into its training data. This is a fundamental problem for testing. When you send the same question to your API multiple times, you get different answers each time, and your tests can't reliably check if your API is working correctly. They might pass when they should fail, or fail when they should pass. Oh, that's quite interesting. Too much text. Too much text. Oh, failed to load image. Let me try it. I feel like this is meant to be in a call out. Feels kind of long. Whoa, we only got like 3 minutes left in this hour. Okay, now we'll just have to save this later. One more time. Save that for later. All right, what did you observe? Oh my goodness. Okay, cool, there we go. What did you observe when running the same query multiple times? I noticed that the answer changed and wasn't reflective of the actual files in my RAG. This is a problem because it could be false. It could represent data that isn't meant to be there. Meant to be there. For a CI/CD to work reliably, we need to make sure everything is always up to date and reflecting the data we intend, not deleted or legacy data. No, thank you. All right, let's solve this problem by implementing mock LLM mode, a way to test retrieval quality without relying on LLM generation. This will make your test deterministic and enable reliable automation. Interesting, deterministic. This will make your test deterministic and enable reliable automation. Wow, this is slow. Come on. Deterministic refers to a system or process where the same input will always produce exactly the same output. Nice. Why not just use better prompts? You might wonder, can I write better prompts to make the LLM deterministic? Even with perfect prompts and low temperature settings, LLM will remain fundamentally probabilistic. They use random sampling. Yeah. It's hard to get exactly the same response every single time. Also, it'd be nice to know about low temperature settings. If you've done our other project, then you'll probably find that. But if you haven't, in I think the Amazon Lex one, we talk a lot about temperature settings. Okay, it's 4:59. We're gonna have to wrap it up there. But I will have to come back and finish the rest of this project somewhere else. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this hasn't been too like side questy with all of my feedback. It's always really, really important for us to be testing. So the reason that we've actually got more of the team coming in and doing these product tests is because it's important for every single person on the team to experience this as a learner experiences it. And not everyone on the team actually gets that on a regular basis. And so we will be rotating from now until hopefully forever, team members actually doing these projects live. And I think that it's probably the best way for them to actually experience what it's like to be a learner on NextWork, and to get that feedback back. So obviously, I don't think that any of us are going to be holding a candle to the incredible work that Maya does demoing these for you, the incredible work that Natasha and Kahu are doing. But I do appreciate your patience and you being very open to the team coming and sharing this. So thank you so much for sitting through, for watching me struggle through this as well. I think it is an awesome project, and hopefully we can just continue to make NextWork better and better and better for you. So yeah, let's bring it on. More projects, more AI, and a better platform for you to learn. If you have any suggestions that you think can be useful, please do let me know. We are really trying to make this a better experience for you. And hopefully, if you got anything out of today, it's that we are really trying to pay attention to those details, and make it better. So thank you so much. And yeah, I'll hand it back to the much more capable and entertaining Maya for these from now on. I'll be back in about a month, I think. So keep a lookout for that if that was interesting. Otherwise, I'm always available. Just tag me and I'll get to it. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, I think I can just get